Hey girl, hey. So this is Dr. Tasha Rogers, and I am going to discuss how to have a healthy vagina because it's really not as deep as people try to make it. Now, I'm going to give y'all a funny story because this hat has me so insecure. So, y'all can age gracefully. That's cute. Okay, that's real cute. Not me. Not me. This girl is not going to have one gray hair, not until no. Just no. So, just in the spirit of time, I was supposed to go to a bunch of holiday parties this weekend. The person who colors me was not able to color me. So I was like, listen, just somebody else who was in the, just hook a sister up because the gray around I can't do it. So me being impatient, ended up looking like damn Jermaine Jackson. Oh, I got a hat on. That's why I had a hat on earlier. Yeah, I don't know what to do, y'all, and my person don't get back for like 2 days. So I don't know, but I don't know. We're gonna work it out somehow. Cause yeah, I got my Jermaine Jack, like the whole the whole anyway. Okay, so not that y'all care, but a little comic relief. Okay. So how do we have a healthy vagina? Listen, okay. I want you guys to know that when it comes to vaginal health, less is more. Less is more. Everybody wants to have some magic eureka moment about the vagina and all these magical herbs and berries are going to fix this, and this magical treatment solution is going to fix this. Let me tell you this. When it comes to the vagina, the way that you have a healthy vagina is prevention. You have to prevent the stuff. Now let's talk a little bit. I want to give you a little bit of background. There was a study done, and I found this study, and I think I've spoken about it before. I found this study begrudgingly because I kept saying to myself, why is it that my African American sisters have BV? I'll say 8 out of 10 have BV, right? They're going to show up with BV. They're going to have it at some point. They're going to have BV. 8 out of 10, right? But maybe 1 out of 10 white girls. And I hate this for us because I do, but I had to say to myself, what is happening? So at first I was blaming the brothers. And then I was like, well, if I find a white girl who dates brothers or married to a brother, maybe I can find some kind of correlation. I just couldn't get it together, right? So I said, okay, this maybe is a study that I need to do or whatever the case may be. So I start looking into stuff, start deep diving, doing article searches. And I really didn't have to dive that deep. And it pissed me the hell off. And I'm going to tell you what I found. The National Institute of Health, that's like the guru. That's like the Bible. That's like, those are those people. The National Institute of Health had done a study. And I literally was like, why do black women get vaginitis more frequently than white women? And so I'm diving, looking for articles. National Institute of Health, this was a recent study, probably maybe about 2-3 years ago. Maybe not even that, but it was a recent study. And they did this exact same study because I was about to go all in for y'all, get all the information, so what I'm saying is, and crazy part, once I found this, I sent this to about 5 of my OBG friends who had never, ever seen, read, or heard of this study. And it is a credible study. And when I say credible, when you're in science, there are ways to do studies. There are different things that you do, different studies that you do. It can be reproduced. It can be this. It can be that. It's a credible study. Like, you can basically rely on the results. This was a credible study that was not only done in America, but it was done in sub-Saharan Africa. So if y'all took so much time, so much energy, so much money, so much manpower, all the things to put this study together, and you have to publish it, why didn't you publicize it? Okay, so let me tell y'all, and that just annoys me because sometimes I feel like anything that'll help us is just not out there. But at the same time, it is what it is. It was out there. And albeit late, I found it. So essentially what they're saying is the environment of a white woman's vagina and a black woman's vagina is different. The organisms or biome or macrobiome or microbiome, the organisms, whatever, the environment in a black woman's vagina and a white woman's vagina are different. And what they're saying is that any black woman who has a high level of something called lactobacillus iners, I-N-E-R-S. I don't know whether it's inners or iners, but I say iners. But lactobacillus iners, any black woman who has an elevated level of lactobacillus iners is going to be at increased risk for vaginitis. So at the end of the day, the deck is kind of loaded against you, some of you, if you have this particular organism, right? So for me, and I'm speaking of experience, I've been doing this for 24 years. I know I don't look like a girl, but yes, I'm 24 years in. And vaginitis has always been my thing. And you can definitely feel confident that my patients will say to me, I got it again, doc, but they know why they got it. There's not one person in my practice. There is, and there has never been one person in my practice who says, I have vaginitis and you have not fixed me and it keeps coming back and you have not fixed me. Not one. I am proud to say that. I am happy to say that. And I don't mind giving y'all the secret sauce if you're willing to listen. I'm not willing to squabble. I'm not willing to debate. If you're going to do the things that I'm saying don't do and you have good success, well, it is your vagina, sweetie. Do exactly what you want to do with it, for it, to it, around it, about it, and all the things. But for the people who truly need the help, for the people who whose gynecologists don't seem to be able to help them, who's going to pillar to post, spending all this money and they're still having problems, listen up, okay? So how to have a healthy vagina. Again, first of all, it's really about prevention. When you are talking about the vagina itself, so many things happen in the vagina. Let me get some basics out of there, okay? First and foremost, the vagina is a lot like food. Ironic, right? If it smells bad, generally it is. Okay, so if there's an odor, there's generally an infection. It doesn't have to be sexually transmitted, but there is an infection. Okay, now I say, and Target is my store, it is my jam, it is my peaceful place, it is my center, it is my that's just how I feel about the J. Target, I love it. It's all the things, okay? It checks all the boxes. But let me be clear, and let me break it down to you like this. If you had an infection in your tooth, an abscess, jaw out like this, is there anything on the aisle at Target that can help you? If you got an infection in your C-section scar and it's oozing and it smells bad and it's green, is there anything in the aisle at Target that can help you? So what makes you think when you get a vaginal infection that there is something in the aisle at Target that can help you? I'm just wondering. So at the end of the day, let me be very clear that I don't care what it is. If there is an infection present, which is usually going to be characterized by odor, unless you just don't wash, but we'll get to that. But if there is an infection present, there is nothing on the aisle at Target that is going to help you. There may be something that may perfume the problem away. There may be something that neutralizes the odor for 24 hours and coats the discharge so that it decreases. But is there going to be anything that will actually treat your infection and have you move on and go about your day and your way? So just don't even look for that, okay? So let me just be very clear about that. Less is more when it comes to how I say care for the vagina. Now, when you have the vagina, there are a few things that you're going to encounter, okay, or that you could encounter. You have the cervix, which sits at the top of the vagina. You have the vagina itself, okay? This is vagina stuff. I'm not dealing with the bladder. I'm not dealing with the booty hole. The vagina is what I said. How will you have a healthy vagina? Okay. You have to be very mindful in what you do with into your vagina. So let me just talk about the couple of different infections that you can have and why you get them. The easiest infection to actually talk about is a yeast infection. Now, 5 different types of yeast. 2 to 3 of those types you will see you could see in the vagina. One type is treated with fluconazole. The other type is not treated with fluconazole. It's treated with, or Candida albicans, which is the most common type, that is treated with fluconazole. Candida glabrata, which is second most common, that's treated with turconazole. It is resistant to fluconazole. So if you are just getting, oh yeah, boom, you got Candida, that's not enough testing, because depending on what type of Candida you have, depends on the treatment, and fluconazole, aka diflucan, don't treat everything, contrary to popular belief. All right, now you have another one called Candida parapsilosis, whatever. Usually that's actually treated, it's very rare. But it's not very rare, it's rare enough, but it's actually treated with fluconazole. If the fluconazole does not work, then we got to send you to our infectious disease people, and we got to get you some IV treatment. So yeast can get kind of complicated. Yeast is not always thick, white, and clumpy. It can be thick and white and clumpy. It can be thick and green and clumpy. It can be thick and green and clumpy and lumpy. I mean, clumpy and thin. So, when in doubt, please go and get evaluated. But when I see yeast, if somebody says, I constantly get yeast, I constantly get yeast, I constantly get yeast, here are going to be the most common reasons why you're going to get recurrent yeast. You ready? Okay. One, it's not so, it's really, one is because your blood sugar runs high. And so that is either you're undiagnosed diabetic, or you're a sugar eater, you're a carb eater, you have elevated blood sugars, you're pre-diabetic. If you are loading on those carbs and loading on those sugars, blood sugar running high, recurrent vaginitis. Recurrent yeast. That's one reason. The next reason is potentially you have a type of yeast that was not treated properly. Maybe you have glabrata and you've been treated for albicans. So we can't just throw the yeast pill at everything. That's why I tell people, stop self-diagnosing. Because when you call these lazy ass doctors and be like, hey, I got a yeast infection, you're like, okay, and they send you over the pill. Well, it gets a little bit more complicated than that. You may not know that, but let me be the one to tell you, it can get more complicated than that. So it's not a money grab. When a doctor's like, well, come in so I can evaluate you. No, it's not a money grab. It is a, let me evaluate you so we can make sure that we're treating the proper thing. Okay. So have we treated the proper type of yeast? That's the first thing. Then what is our blood sugar looking like? And then are you ready for this one? Because here's one y'all do not know. If you're having unprotected sex and your partner has elevated blood sugar, he's an uncontrolled diabetic. He eats a bunch of crap, a bunch of carbs, a bunch of sugars, and the level of sugar in his semen is elevated. Yes, my love, you will respond with yeast infections. So, like I say, you cannot have optimal vaginal health if your partner does not have optimal health in general. Just can't. Sorry. Now, there's that, okay? So yeast, are we treating the right type of yeast? And then, so, people tend to think, oh, tight pants give me yeast. No, it may worsen the yeast, or it creates an environment for it to grow, because it likes to grow in warm, dark, moist places. So going to the gym and not changing and wearing the same sweaty clothes all day, running errands, wearing tight clothes, tight underwear, tight pants, it creates an environment for the yeast to grow, but it in and of itself does not actually create yeast. Okay, what I tell my patients to be as natural as possible, rather than I got another yeast infection, I don't know where it's coming from. I tell my patients to take apple cider vinegar capsules, not gummies, because that's full of sugar in and of its damn self. It's probably like 10% apple cider vinegar and 90% sugar. So I mean, from some place as basic as Amazon, from I don't know, Trader Joe's sells them, but whoever, someplace very, very basic, you can get apple cider vinegar capsules. 2 a day will eat up an overgrowth of yeast in your body. Okay. So just, that's anywhere, that's on your skin, that's on your scalp. So 2 a day will eat up an overgrowth of yeast. Make sure you're hydrating well. Make sure you stay well hydrated. Water is nature's elixir. Okay, if you drink enough water, you will find good health. You really, really will. So be mindful to drink enough water. Careful with the tight clothes. When you leave the gym, make sure you're taking all that crap off. Even if you like, well, I can't take a shower, fine. Take it off, towel off with a washcloth or a towel, and then put some dry gym clothes on or some dry other clothes, however you want to do it. And then also, you know, I respect you ladies, but there are a couple of things that do drive me crazy. You guys come in and say, I don't know what's wrong, and I start asking you questions about your partner, and you get a little tight, you get a little uncomfortable, and you're like, I don't know. Well, you gotta know, okay? Because one, he could be the cause for your issue, because it's not that it's sexually transmitted, but at the same time, like I said, your vagina is gonna respond to what goes in it and what's happening with it. So you need to know what his diet looks like. You need to know whether he eats fast food. You need to know whether he sees a doctor, a urologist. When's the last time he was checked for anything, STDs, as well as just regular stuff. When the last time his balls were checked, his prostate, anything. You have to have this information. If you're going to have the kind of relationship with somebody where there's no barrier between the two of you, baby, you need answers. You need answers, okay? So that's yeast. Again, apple cider vinegar capsules, 2 a day is what I usually would recommend. You can order them from kind of anywhere. Just watch your sugar content. So your sugar, your carbs. Make sure if you keep getting recurrent yeast, you get a test. You go to your doctor and ask for something called a hemoglobin A1C. When it comes to hemoglobin A1C, that will, an A1C will let the doctor know how close you are to being a pre-diabetic versus a diabetic versus not pre-diabetic at all. So if you're like not pre-diabetic at all, and then you keep getting recurrent yeast infections, then we're gonna knock diabetes or pre-diabetes or your diet off of the table. So then we start looking at your partner, or we start looking at treatments and what type of yeast you have. And you know, you guys go to the doctors all the time. Well, I told my doctor to check for all the things you said, but I have a specialty pharmacy I have a specialty lab that I use because my testing is extensive. And a lot of offices just don't do it, okay? But that's yeast. You got it? So it could be you, it could be your partner, it could be poor treatment. Diet is a big part of it, lack of water, and the different ways in which it can look. Obviously, you want to treat it with medication because that is an infection. But in the meantime and in between time, to help from having to constantly go and get medication, you can do apple cider vinegar capsules, and hopefully that will kind of start to widen the gap of treatment. Okay, so the next thing is, let's do cervical infections before vaginitis. Vaginitis is deep, child. So with cervical infections, I call it an occupational hazard, right? I call it an occupational hazard. And what that means is, at some point, if you are a person having unprotected sex, or using lubricants, or using chemical-based tampons, at some point you're going to develop a cervical infection. You just are. Okay, so let's talk about what a cervical infection is. Your cervix sits at the top of the vagina. And if you can visualize this, this is not actual, but if you can visualize this, your cervix functions as a sponge. The only thing your cervix will, and it serves as a barrier between your womb, which is up here, and your vagina, which is down here, right? And the only thing it will actually let into your womb is sperm. But people think semen or cum, aka, is sperm. It is not. Semen is urine, blood, pus, and sperm. So the only thing your cervix will allow through it is the sperm, but the urine, the blood, and the pus are caught by your cervix, your sponge, okay, your protective sponge. So if you stop and think about this, the more unprotected sex you have with somebody who is unhealthy, they may be on medications, they may have diabetes, they may have poor diets, high blood pressure, whatever, is going to make their semen more not okay. I guess that's the way of saying it. Your sponge gets fuller and fuller and fuller. You're using lubricants, again, anything that's not sperm, your cervix is going to catch. So using lubricants. Again, when I recommend tampons, I recommend chlorine-free, chemical-free tampons, pads, all the stuff, okay? So anything that goes in your vagina, your cervix sucks up. Once your sponge gets full, you develop one of two cervical infections. There are two cervical infections that cause cervicitis, is what we call it, mycoplasma and ureaplasma, okay? So when it comes to the cervical infections, they're very easy to treat. 2 pills one time, and that's it. They go away over a time period, maybe over a week or two. They tend to go away, okay? Now, when it comes to cervicitis, well, how do you prevent it? Well, how do you, at the end of the day, you probably can, again, based on your partner's health, you probably can delay how frequently you need to be treated for it. But again, it's an occupational hazard. How many people who are married or in sexual relationships where they feel comfortable having unprotected sex, that it's an occupational hazard. It just is. It's not anything sexually transmitted. I say it's sexually associated, not necessarily sexually transmitted, because nobody's done anything wrong. I don't know. When I think sexually transmitted, I think like, girl, clutch the pearls. Somebody's been in the streets. But when I think sexually associated, it's one of those things where it happens due to sex, but it's not that anybody did anything wrong or is doing anything wrong, if that makes any sense. So that is that as far as the cervical infections. 2 pills one time, that's it. How do you avoid it? Well, having protected intercourse. Again, one of the biggest things about protected intercourse is using the proper condoms, and we will get to that when we talk about vaginitis, okay? So using the proper condoms, having protected intercourse, and again, if you are having unprotected intercourse, again, looking out for the health of your partner, big major deal. But again, it's an occupational hazard. 9 times out of 10, it's going to happen, especially if you are having unprotected sex. Now, again, remember I said the key to healthy vagina is just prevention. It is doing a particular thing, living a particular way, not living a particular way, but doing a particular thing and treating your vagina a particular way. And when I say living, I guess I mean lifestyle stuff. Now, vaginitis, that's the big boy, because that is what most people suffer from. That is what most people are misunderstood about. I feel so bad a lot of times because I know a lot of women are just looking for relief. You're looking for treatment. You're looking for relief. You don't want to smell bad when that man comes over. You don't want that man to be asking you questions. You don't want to smell bad for yourself. You don't want to smell bad when that female comes over. It doesn't have to be, I don't know. I don't care what you sleep with, but you just don't want to smell bad, right? And you just want help. You start feeling like, is this harming me? I can't go to the bathroom without leaving my hole behind in there, all the things. Well, again, you have to retrain your brain. If you're ready to retrain your brain and ready to live a vaginitis-free life, I'm ready to give it to you. But again, there will be no squabbling. Okay, so when it comes to vaginitis, there's 7 different types of vaginitis. Okay, most doctors only actually test for 3 or 4 at most. And metronidazole only kills 4 of the 7. So imagine if you have not been tested for all 7, you've only been treated for 4. Imagine a lot of you probably have tests that are coming back negative. And a lot of you are just like, I keep getting it, I keep getting it, I keep getting it. Well, another thing that study that was done by the National Institute of Health showed was that metronidazole is very poor treatment for vaginitis. And what they should be using is what I use, and it's the only thing I use in my practice, which is clindamycin. Now, when it comes to vaginitis, again, I believe it kind of plays with cervicitis. So I think if you have a vaginitis and you haven't treated the cervicitis, they're going to constantly be playing back and forth with each other. Okay, so the question is that when you're tested, be tested for everything. Ask, hey, listen, can you test me for cervical infections? Can you test me for ureaplasma and mycoplasma? Write that down, sis. Ureaplasma, mycoplasma, M-Y-C-O, ureaplasma. Write those down. Ask to be tested for those 2. They may say, no, we don't test for those. Well, Go somewhere else. And then there are 7 different types of vaginitis, right? So when it comes to vaginitis, misdiagnosis and poor treatment are amongst the #1 causes, to be perfectly honest. Then it's hygiene. But it is over hygiene. I'm telling you, y'all be doing too much. The stuff that I hear, where does this stuff come from? Like, I don't know whether it just sounds good to somebody, so they say it. I don't know whether it has come down the chitlin circuit. I don't know whether it's on damn TikTok and y'all are just hearing foolishness. I don't know. But what I do know, it be a bunch of bullshit. So, here it is. Here is what all the patients at Atlanta Premier follow, okay? Here is what I follow, all right? Never shampoo your hair in the shower. Never. Never use liquid soap for any reason. Never. I don't care how organic, vegan, made in Ecuador, all natural, made with the tears of sweet baby Jesus. Any shower gel, it all has the same base. Whenever you make a product, any product, you guys know that my background is in chemistry. This is why I own and have created Clean and Cute. My background is in chemistry, okay? So I'm not telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. All products, from laundry detergent to dog wash to dish liquid to any shampoo, it's all made out of a base. Like, you can just literally buy shampoo base. Like, literally, and put it in a bottle and sell it if you should so choose, right? You can buy anything is made of a base. The base that is used to make body wash, it's the same base made to use to make dog wash, as a matter of fact. But your vagina does not like it. It does not like it. So if you use a liquid body wash, shower gel, or any of the above, you got vaginitis. Point blank, period. I'm not willing to debate it. Another thing you're not going to use, no antibacterial soap. Sis, that is antibacterial for your hands, not for your vagina. Who told you that? Who told you that? No. So no antibacterial soap, no deodorant soap, no perfume soap, none of all of that, okay? No baby wipes, because no, you're not a baby. No boric acid, because I don't know, you guys may be too young to remember, but around the baseboards and every old person's house, if the person is 75 or older, they got some boric acid on their baseboards. What could be happening in your vagina that's so bad that you want to put roach and rat killer in your vagina? Don't do that. Don't do that. I think, and I stand firm, that gynecologists recommend it and try to give it to you once they can't fix you. Once they've tried to fix you, they've given you this metronidazole 250 times. If they don't give you metronidazole, they give you metro gel. Then they give you the stuff, that's the powder stuff that you sprinkle on the pudding. They give you all types of stuff and they can't fix it. So then finally they give you boric acid, which will perfume it for a little while, and then it coats the walls of the vagina. So therefore it seems like your discharge stops. So the people who are like, my boric acid works, why are you still using it then? If it works, then why are you still using it? Just wondering. So yeah, don't do any of that. Don't soak your behind in Epsom salt, bubble bath, or any of the above, okay? Bath time, shower time, it should not be all these bells and whistles and liquids and what are y'all doing? And the bleach, people. The bleach, peroxide, and apple cider vinegar in the water. Y'all coochie so dry, baby. Y'all, baby, y'all coochie dry as a chalkboard in the desert. Baby, let me tell you what. Please don't do that. Y'all are pickling your vagina. Because I got the wop. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, sis, no, you don't. No, you got the jerky. You got the jerky. Okay? Because that's what you're doing. You're jerkying your coochie. Just stop it. Because it ain't killing nary not infection at all. Okay? So, there's that. Now, when it comes, you say, well, what do you use? What can you use? My back is itching. What can you use? Well, Couple of things. Before I created my soap, which I'm absolutely in love with, and anybody who loves it is also in love with it, for 20 years, I recommended Dove White Bar Soap. Dove White, the original, the OG, the white and navy blue box, not the exfoliating, not the sensitive skin, not the unscented. I don't know, came out with so much new stuff, not the none of that. The original, okay? I had a population of people who were like, Doug, I don't know, I don't like it, I have a population of people who wanted soap that smelled good. That's why they used shower gel or whatever. And so the chemistry in me, you know, I'm always, everything that Clean and Cute was developed to fix a problem, right? So I went back into the lab and I said, okay, what can I do so that these ladies can be protected, but also get a little bit of what they want, get a little bit of the smell goods, get a little bit of the parumpa pump pump. And I came up with the soap. It only has 5 ingredients in it. It is all natural, and the fragrance is an essential oil. But that stuff is not cheap. This is why these mass companies don't use it, because it's not cheap. But the soaps and the detergents and all these things that they do use have formaldehyde, and they can be cancer causing. They're carcinogens. So you have to be very, very careful, okay? But as far as mass produced soap, like I said, for 20 years before I created Clean and Cute Body Wash Bar, it was Dove White Bar Soap. My patients had no problems. We had no vaginitis, none of all of that. I used it before I created my body wash bar, okay? So I'm not going to be that doctor to be like, oh, if you don't use my stuff, you can't get better, because someone be on the internet like that. But that's not my jam. I'm not trying to sell you products. I'm trying to help you understand what a healthy vagina is. If you're somebody who feels like, oh, I want to use wipes, I got to use wipes. If I go to the bathroom, I got to use wipes. There's something called water wipes, okay? Water wipes are literally just like water and aloe water, aloe juice or something like that, I want to say. And you can literally like Google water wipes. It may even have them on Amazon, but you can literally Google water wipes. Get you some water wipes. If you can't find the water wipes, get like some paper towel, wet them down, kind of squeegee them out and put them in a Ziploc bag and carry them with you all the time if that's more cost effective. But please, no baby wipes. The detergent in it, you can't have that. And your vagina, it's like, no ma'am, okay? Now, that is the hygiene part of it, okay? Less is more. A lot of people just can't imagine getting in the bath. Oh, wait a minute. And then the people who be like, no, I wash my upper body with this, and I wash this with this. I don't wash nothing down there. First of all, put some soap down there. When they said the vagina is self-clean, they didn't mean the vulva. They didn't mean the lips. They didn't mean the clitoris. They meant the actual vagina. The actual vagina, that like you don't insert any fingers anywhere. But down there, girl, if you don't get down there with a wash rag and clean down, we're going to have some problems. Okay? So that is that as far as hygiene. Now, no, that's far as like I'm showering. But the people who like, oh, I use shower gel up here, but I don't use nothing down there. Baby, have you ever gotten in the shower and seen the water cut to the left and cut to the right and avoid your vagina? No. Whatever you wash your body with, you wash your vagina with. So that's why I say from neck to feet, Dove White Bar Soap or Clean and Cute Body Wash Bar, preferably that. But Dove White Bar Soap will do the trick, okay? Y'all hear me? I hope you hear me. Don't get ambitious. You want to spend money on something? Buy yourself some nice oils, okay? Buy yourself some nice perfume. Buy yourself some nice coming soon Clean and Cute linen spray. But the shower ain't the place for all that. I'm trying to let you know. Hear what you want to hear. I'm just telling you. I know what works. Ask anybody in the practice. Ask anybody who said, get online, ask anybody. It works, okay? Now, let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. Now, again, definitely not squabbling in the comments, okay? BV is not sexually transmitted. I don't care who tries to infer, insinuate, or convince you that it is sexually transmitted. It is not sexually transmitted, but it is sexually associated. Now, let's talk to my protected sex women. Women. Okay. If you are having protected intercourse only, the lubricant on the condom can cause a vaginitis. The only condom that I actually co-sign, and this is a real co-sign, these people do not pay me, they don't acknowledge anything I say, they don't acknowledge my account, and they don't need to. I just want to get you guys what you need. It's B Condom Company, okay? It's the letter B. It's like a hologram. I'm not sure where they sell it. Actually, I kind of am, but I'm not feeling to say. But it's B. If you put in B Condoms, they're on Instagram. And I guess from that page, you can either buy it from them or you can buy it from wherever they tell you they sell it. But they're on Instagram, the letter B. B Condom Companies. The lubricant on that condom, it will not cause a vaginitis. A lot of times women have convinced themselves that they're allergic to latex, because they'll say, oh, condoms make my vagina feel swollen, busted up. I feel like it's all cut inside, it's burning and irritated. That's actually not the condom itself. 9 times out of 10, if you're allergic to latex, go with what you go with, girl. But I'm just saying, for the most part, that is the lubricant called Naloxone 9. And Naloxone 9 can be very irritating to the vagina. I mean, it just feels like you have been through the ringer and back. And actually with the Naloxone 9, if the condom actually breaks, it makes it easier for you to contract HIV. So we don't want to do that. So if you are having only protected, and you're like, I'm having protected sex and I'm still getting it, it's the type of condom you're using, okay? Now, for my unprotected sex girlies, kind of same as the cervicitis. What is he eating? Does he have bad eating habits? Is he having fast food all the time, not drinking any water, eating a bunch of Takis? All he eats is candy, popping perks, sipping lean, all of that. Well, all of that is encompassed in his semen. And then when you have unprotected sex with him, you're now the recipient of it. And so it's really funny because a gynecologists have bought into this pH balance sugar honey iced tea. When we are taught gynecology, we don't really get into the whole pH balance thing. It's not really a thing, right? These companies, these feminine wash companies, these companies who are trying to sell you a product and want to grab hold of some clickbait have made this pH balance a thing. But the reality of the situation is kind of like, we're like acidic or basic. Males are acidic or basic, and we're supposed to come together having unprotected sex, and it's supposed to neutralize and then kind of like, you know, run out of the vagina, no consequences. But if they're messed up from their diet, their lifestyle, their medications, their illnesses, their infections, all the things, well, when we finally have unprotected sex, it's gonna mess us up. So oftentimes, how can you tell? You're like, I was fine until I had sex with him, and then next couple days I smelled like, ugh. That's when it's him. That's when it's his lifestyle. That's when it's whatever it is he has going on. Okay? So, like I said, it is not sexually transmitted, but it is sexually associated. So if you can hear what I'm saying, what I'm basically saying is how you care for your body, how you care for who enters your body, how you care for their lifestyle and what they're doing. These are questions that you should have. These are things that you should be concerned. I don't know what he eat, but you should. And you should be concerned because it's 100% going to affect your vagina. Okay? Stop doing the most. If you got a whole dresser full of fragrance, everything, a whole bathroom full of fragrance, everything, you're your own worst enemy, sis. Because that stuff is not perfuming it away. It is causing the problem. Okay? So be mindful about those things. Just like, you know, you would be, y'all investigate hairstylists, y'all investigate nail techs, y'all investigate lash technicians, all this stuff, but then you don't have any questions for the person who's going to be most intimate with one of the most interesting and intimate areas of your body. I don't get it, sis. I don't get it. But anyway, it's not for me to get, okay? Because here we listen, we don't judge, all right? Now, but like I said, tone down with all of the hyper fragrant bath and body stuff. I'm just saying bath and body, not particularly that company. I'm just saying all of your bath and body needs, like tone down with all the perfumey stuff, okay? Because it ain't where it's at. Basic, just keep it basic. Make sure you are minding your diet, control your sugar, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Discuss your partner's diet and their lifestyle and what they're doing. And your vagina is like a mucous membrane, right? So people get fixated on, well, I got discharge. Okay, here's how you can tell whether discharge is normal or not. Is it an abnormal color? So if it's not clearish or whitish or light yellow, a little bit abnormal. If it's excessive, if you like, no, it's white, it doesn't itch, it doesn't burn, but it's so much of it, I have to wear a panty liner, excessive. Not okay. And then sometimes, you know, I actually had a patient. This is how responsive and receptive vaginas are. I had a patient and she came to me from like another city. And because she knew that I do the vaginitis thing. This is what this girl does. And so I did all the testing for her and we treated her for the vaginitis that she did have. Multiple types. She had about 4 or 5 different types. And I treated her for those. And she calls me back in about a week or 2 and says, yeah, doc, I still got symptoms. I'm like, nope, come on back in. Come on back in. And we went through her routine. We talked about everything. We did all the things. And so I retested her. And she came back negative for every single type of vaginitis. And I called her and I said, are you still having discharge? She said, yeah. I said, okay, let's talk a little bit. And so I said, let's talk about your partner. So she was married. And I said, well, when's the last time you saw any of his testing? Well, he doesn't like to go to the doctor. Okay. When's the last time he went to the urologist, which is a male doctor, which is a penis doctor. And they do the whole penis, urinary tract, all that for a man. And yes, if we're going to go through the trouble of having a gynecologist, tell me why your partner doesn't have a urologist. It's not always indicated, but over a certain age and just general, like, check me out, doc. I think it's important. And so we just kept talking and I said, you know, I think that it's important that he go. So she was very open and honest with me and said, well, he doesn't like the finger in the booty, which is what a lot of you will hear males say. Okay, I'm going to give you the clap back for that. Y'all are ready? And it's not really a clap back. It's really productive to know this. So are you guys ready? If your partner is like, I don't want to go to the doctor because I don't want them to stick their finger in my butt. Here's what you say. Oh, but they don't have to. If they do a particular test called a P as in Peter, S as in Sam, A as in Apple. If they do a PSA and draw the blood, that will let them know if there is an abnormality with their prostate. Now, if it's an abnormality, they got to get the test. Ain't nothing they can do. Have somebody put them to sleep, do whatever. But that is a way of them going to get evaluated, to have their prostate evaluated, so that they don't have to have the digital exam. Now, it's not 100%. Nothing is 100%, but it's not 100%, but it's better than them not going at all. Okay, so you're offering them an alternative. Now, when you have somebody, you offer them an alternative and they still don't want to go, baby, either they high and something, they just dirty. I don't really know, but. So, with that being said, when it comes to your vagina, stop running for a magic pill or a magic potion. The treatment, the best thing you can do is learning and understanding how to prevent vaginitis. Stop self-diagnosing yourself. You know, just say, hey, listen. And patients come in, oh, I think I got vaginitis. Don't, especially only new patients do that at my practice. Oh, I think I have a particular thing. And I'm like, don't tell me what you think you have. Tell me what your symptoms are. Don't tell me tell me what your symptoms are. Tell me what your discharge looks like. Tell me what your discharge smells like. Don't tell me that you have a particular thing. Okay, so stop self-diagnosing. Go to your doctor and say, hey, I have a discharge and it looks like this. It itches. It smells like this. It feels bad. I've had it this amount of time. I got it. This is what you do. Okay, so outside of self-diagnosing yourself, because you could be limiting yourself. You could think that you have, because, you know, people are, I guess, a little bit on the lazy side. So when you go in and say, I think I got vaginitis, they're going to check you for vaginitis. If you don't have it, that's it. But what if you got something else? Tunnel vision. it can really cause a problem. So at the end of the day, I want you guys to be more focused on prevention, doing things a particular kind of way, not doing things a particular kind of way. And then once you get these infections, make sure you're getting the medications that actually treat the infections properly, okay? And then have conversations, have open conversations. Like, you know, we're all so, you know, accepting and what is it, body positive and sex positive, but we can't have conversations with our partners. Start talking to people like, hey, listen, so if we're gonna have unprotected sex, I'm gonna need some answers. Like, I need you to go to the doctor. I need you to be drinking some water. You can't be out here all reckless and then try to stick your little dick in me. And then I got all these problems. I'm paying all these co-pays, paying for all these antibiotics. I'm not doing all that. So like, how's your diet? What are we doing? Because if that's what you're gonna do, you can do that, but you're gonna have to put on a condom, because I'm not gonna be back and forth to this doctor every 2-3 minutes. I'm not doing it. And usually guys will respect where you're coming from. They'll be like, I hear you. I respect you. No, I'm gonna go get checked. You right. A lot of times, unfortunately, women, we feel like we can't ask, but that's not okay. So hope you learned something from this video. Hope you took something from this video. I hope it changes your life. And again, if you follow the rules that I've set, you're gonna be good, girl. All right.